1, 2, 3, set. Hit it.
Stamps TV is brought to you by Apple Fitness, equipment the pros use. And Coors Light, who wants a cold one? And Alberta Glass, the choice is clear, the quality is proven. And Olympia Trust, the people you should trust.
Hi everybody, welcome to Stamps TV. I'm Mike Lunsborough. Of course, the Stampeders getting ready for the playoffs. The first stop, Saskatchewan. Anything can happen as far as weather goes in Regina in November. If it gets cold and snowy, the Stampeders have the ultimate game plan. Hand the ball off to Joffrey Reynolds.
As the temperature drops, the ball gets harder. So will we see a bigger focus on the ground game?
That's what I'm hoping, you know. But yeah, you know, actually the weather's been pretty good here in Calgary, so, you know, and everywhere else we've been. So don't quite know, but, you know, when it's cold, you know, definitely, you know, Series really don't like to catch the ball, you know, and all that good stuff. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
This is a talented football player, and the offense has got to be designed to get him the ball somehow if they want success.
So many times this year, the Stampeders have been behind early and had to abandon the running attack to play catch-up. The truth is, when the Stamps have a balanced attack with Hank throwing and Joffrey running, they're tough to beat.
Saskatchewan, you know, they throw a lot of different looks at you, blitz a lot of guys, you know, and they have good personnel. So I think it's to our advantage to, you know, keep them on their heels with the pass and the run. And, like, you know, when we've done that against Saskatchewan, we've had some success.
If the Saskatchewan weather doesn't bug you, playing in Regina in bad weather with all those crazy fans might. It's like playing in Oakland, only smaller with a better dental plan.
They got some pretty crazy fans, you know, and even when you play here, you don't know where you're playing. We're playing in Calgary, but seems like there's more green than red. But you got to give credit to their organization and to their fans for sticking with them for so long and, you know, going through the good and the bad. So, you know, they finally get rewarded with a playoff game, but unfortunately, you know, I think it's going to end in a loss.
Not everybody hates playing in Regina. In fact, several Stamps prefer playing in Regina if they couldn't play in Calgary.
Well, you know what, I love it. I think somebody asked me a question on the computer a few weeks back, what's your favorite place to play? And I love that kind of an atmosphere. And although you wish they're cheering for you, it's still, it fires you up and it makes you want to go out there and play that much harder. And so I feel confident. I think it's going to be a neat experience going into Saskatchewan when they haven't hosted a playoff game for quite some time. But I think the pressure is going to be on them. I think we can come in there, and I think people underestimate us. I think people don't give us enough credit. And so going in there, I think we're going to surprise some people.
Longevity. I mean, you talk about you're one of the elder statesmen, if you will, on this team. You've seen a lot of things, 5 years now, and you're still able to survive. Let's talk about that.
The way I survive is become a utility player, being able to play several positions, and especially on the defensive side and on special teams. Being able to block also really helps me out. So I do believe that being a utility player really helps for my longevity, and that's why I've been here so long.
Take us through your thoughts on special teams and everything like that, and your mentality on the field.
Well, basically my mentality on the field is just prevent big plays whatsoever. I'm majority of the time I'm a field player, so basically that means I have a lot of real estate to cover. So my first priority is prevent the big plays, and if the opportunity comes of making the big hit, I'll be there.
Do you think some people take special teams for granted, though?
No, you can't, especially not in the CFL. You can't. Like, field position is such at a premium, especially on this type of field. And the best thing you can do for your team, either on defense or on offense, is put them in a good field position, because first of all, it helps first of all for scoring position, and it also helps for mentality-wise, because it always feels good when you have a big field for the offense to work on, and it feels better for the defense when the offense has a short field to play on.
Talk about reputations, because you got one as being kind of the style master on this team. Would you like to comment on that?
Well, you know, I do believe that I dress good. You know, I'm fashionably aware, put it that way. And
That's good.
so, no, but seriously, all I'm gonna say is this: I know what's the trends, and I usually follow it, and I dress good, and some of the guys, you know, have a hard time with that, you know.
You have that thing about you, that aura about you.
Yeah.
And there is a redneck mentality in that locker room, isn't
Oh
there?
yeah, well, some of the guys, yeah. Well, you know, but in Calgary, I can get away with it. You know, there's a lot of people that, you know, that are up to the trend, and especially Calgary becoming such a metropolitan area. So I do believe that, you know, I'm bringing the trend, and the trend is already in Calgary. Oh, get off of me!
It's okay.
No spooning with the enemy.
Recently, our cameras made it into your bedroom, and you and Scott Coe were lying there having a moment.
Yeah.
Comment on that.
Well, I thought it was a blonde girl at first.
A lot of people make that mistake.
Well, especially with Scott Coe.
Yeah, yeah.
No, but I was completely shocked. I saw a big bright light in my eyes. I thought it was a dream. I thought I was invaded by aliens in some way, and I was just like, what the heck is going on here? Next thing you know, I hear a familiar voice like, wait, is that Scott Coe?
Yeah.
Yeah, he made himself comfortable. I didn't feel too good about that.
Your worst nightmare come true.
Oh, yeah, it was.
We're talking about tattoos, and you have a tattoo on your arm. Tell us about that one.
Well, basically the main sign that's on top, it means knife in the heart. And that tattoo simply means endurance, patience, tolerance. And it was through college. My ex-girlfriend gave me a scroll, and the scroll, I went through 3 years of college, and I had that scroll posted up on my wall, you know, because sometimes, you know, you're away from home, you're homesick, and especially in Canadian, on an American football team, they'll get on you every which way they can, you know, and it was a hard time, and I do believe that scroll, what it meant to me was just perseverance and just basically work through that obstacle. I'll just become stronger and wiser, and that's why that tattoo meant so much to me, especially the scroll, so I decided to have the scroll tattooed on my arm.
Stamps TV is brought to you by Molson and Coors Light. Who wants a cold one? Apple Fitness, equipment the pros use. And South Center Fine Cars, McLeod Trail, Calgary. The Stamps Health Guide, brought to you by LA Weight Loss Center. You can see the difference. Our health segment deals with footwear. Whether you're a walker, runner, or football player, the right footwear prevents injuries and promotes good health.
This is the normal shoe that we use. It's called the M2 bottom. It's a multi-stud shoe. It's pretty similar from company to company. Very, very efficient as far as getting into the pebble of the field. And what they keep telling us is the beauty of field turf is that it doesn't freeze. So in the past where you get the rock hard AstroTurf or you get the non-existent grass up in Commonwealth, this field should be the same whether it's 20 below or 20 above. So hopefully that's the way we go. In a worst case scenario, if you get a little bit of snow or something on the top of it, you can go to this style, which is called a quagmire. A lot more contact with the ground, a lot more chance to actually get in. So there's lots of options. If you're going in on a road trip, Commonwealth in the past would be a prime example. If we were going up there in November, each guy would have probably 6 or 7 options for shoes. So now you're at home, all that stuff's in a locker.
Now, what about other gear as we get into playoffs? What, in your estimation, is the most important aspect of equipment in wintertime in playoffs?
In wintertime, probably, I think clothing. When you start to get into cold games and you got to drum it through these guys' heads that more is not necessarily better. We use a lot of polypropylene clothing, lycra clothing, and it's a question of layering. And if they're layered properly, it can be 30 below and they're going to be fine. So, and we introduce that clothing to them slowly so that they don't get overwhelmed, because you get some kid out of Florida that's never seen snow before. He wants to put on everything that you've given him on one day. And then he's the friggin' Michelin man out there and he can't move. So I think without a doubt clothing, and we take great pride in the way that we introduce it to him and what we actually give him.
I would love to see a Florida kid first time it's 30 below out here, and he looks at you on the sideline in shorts, wondering, are you nuts?
Yeah, and usually there's an expletive that goes with that as well. So the answer is yes. So.
The Stamps Health Guide, brought to you by LA Weight Loss Center. You can see the difference.
Up Close and Personal with the Stampeders is brought to you by Olympia Trust, Alberta Glass, and Best Way Television and Appliances.
Entirely new D-line for the Stampeders as well, with Gargiulo and Caron Williams and Terrence Patrick now in a starting role.
Well, first of all, your thoughts now, almost having a full year of CFL playing behind you, and you know, being up here, getting used to the league, kind of in and out, suffering some injuries. It's kind of been an up and down year for you, hasn't it?
It has. You know, I was unfortunately had some injuries at the start, and you know, it was a little bit of an adjustment coming in to the new pace of the game and the new rules. But I think I adapted pretty well, and just had some running bad luck with the injuries. That's how it goes. It's part of the game, and not much you can do about it. It's kind of out of your hands.
So here we are getting into playoffs for you guys. What are your thoughts? First stab at the playoffs.
It's pretty exciting, and I think everybody on the team is real excited. We obviously expected to be here going into the season. I don't think anybody's surprised that we're here, but you know, we are really excited for the first playoff game, and it's gonna be good for us.
When you look at the D-line, you've had to make the switch here, and you guys are now in a four-man front. Does that play more into your style than playing with three-man? Because three-man's a pretty tough system to play, isn't it?
Well, it depends how you define the three-man. Now, if we actually only have 3 men down,
yeah,
then yeah, that's pretty different with the 4th man down. But you know, we were also running 4 men down, but 1 was a linebacker. So as far as that, you know, it's not too big of an adjustment from there. But I think it does help us in the run. I definitely prefer being in a 4-man front than a 3-man front. Just gives you better opportunities to rush the passer and stop the run.
Speed obviously plays an important part of your game, yeah, because really this D-line isn't as big as a lot of D-lines across the league.
Yeah, it's pretty small up front, but you know, the sort of system we run, we're very attack style, and you need speed to run that. And if we execute our techniques properly, we're very effective. We don't want to get in wrestling matches with O-linemen more than we have to. But you know, we tilt a lot, which helps us avoid a lot of that.
First time you saw this big field, you must have just went, what the heck is this all about?
It's definitely different to play football on. I used to play rugby, which is the same size field more or less.
Yeah.
So you know, it wasn't too much of a shock, but you know, chasing down the quarterback that's booting out on a field this wide is a lot different than the American.
Gargiulo, the rookie out of Dartmouth, recovering for the Stamps.
You have a talent, an interesting talent with words. Now, they didn't tell me exactly what it was. Explain what it is and maybe give us a demonstration.
Sure. If you give me any word that I can spell in the English language, I can instantly alphabetize all the letters in the word and reset them back to you. So if you were to give me Stampeders, I would say ADEMPRST.
Okay, so, all right, what's the toughest word if someone's ever thrown at you?
Everybody likes to say, you know, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, and I'm not really sure if that counts, so
yeah.
I've never been able to do that one. But anything that has a lot of things like X, Q, you know, lesser used letters is pretty tough, but I can do just about anything, really.
Okay, what's a tough, gorgeous?
EGORSU.
Huh. How did you come across this talent?
To be honest with you, I've been able to do it for as long as I can remember. My earliest memory of doing it was when I was in the 6th grade. I was on a long road trip to visit my uncle in Illinois, and I just remember just doing this in the car to pass the time.
Well, this must be a great drinking game.
It would be if anybody else could do it, but you know, obviously the more you drink, the more difficult it is to do it. So I think it's kind of counterproductive in that way.
You're watching Stamps TV on Sportsnet. Later.
Stamps TV is brought to you by Alberta Glass, helping you to make clear choices. Olympia Trust, the financial people you should trust. Hairstyles and products brought to you by Element Salon and Day Spa, Marda Loop, Calgary. And Evage.
Nobody is more excited about playing in Saskatchewan than Stampeder quarterback Henry Burris. I recently caught up with him to get his thoughts about going back to Saskatchewan in the playoffs.
Marcus Adams in pursuit. Burris throwing it downfield. Copeland, what a catch!
I tell you, it'll be sweet to be part of that. You know, that remarkable occurrence. You know, it's definitely history for the organization and a former quarterback of the organization. It's something that I know is going to definitely mean a lot to not only that organization, but also for the entire league and also the province of Saskatchewan. And you know, I'm hoping they're going to add extra seats because I know right now that's the hottest ticket probably in the history of that province, because it's remarkable what they've done as a team and as an organization as far as turning it around and getting that home field. So, you know, it's going to be an honor and a privilege to be a part of it.
Okay, you were a hero there once, and hey, you're one of the nicest guys I've ever met, but maybe not the most popular guy in Saskatchewan.
Behind Lonsboro.
So, talk about going back and playing in front of that crowd.
Well, I'd say it's remarkable just all the respect they show me, you know, call me Boris and all this type of stuff. But you know what, the one thing I always tell people is that, you know, the people that they talk about are people that they respect, because if you weren't doing anything, they wouldn't say anything about you. So, you know, I definitely take it as a sense of respect. And, you know, we had a long, rich history there as far as with the years that I spent there. Really, it was the last time we had a true chance to really make it to the show. And so, you know, it was definitely a relationship that we didn't want to end, but it had to end because of the business side of things. So, but I know there's going to be a good amount of people waiting for me and the team when we get there. And they're going to have a lot of things to say to us to try to get us out of our game. But we've experienced it. We've been there. Hey, they embarrassed us the first part of the year. But this is a totally different team than what stepped onto, I think it's Mosaic Field back at the beginning of the season.
Yeah. Boy, it's going to be interesting. Good matchup between two different kinds of quarterbacks. Kerry Joseph, big, strong guy, who really, I think if Saskatchewan's going to win, they're going to have to use his legs to win, and your arm. So let's talk about the matchups with the quarterbacks. I know you guys are friends.
Yeah, definitely. Kerry and I are real good friends, and definitely this past year at the All-Star Weekend that I have, we built that relationship much better, because that was the first time I actually had a chance to hang around him. But he's also a great guy, great leader, fiery guy. And I mean, for a guy who played safety in the NFL, played running back in the NFL, and now he just wanted to chase that dream of being a quarterback one day. And he's showing his true colors as far as being one of the most outstanding player candidates in the West. And you know, to be up there and be able to join him, it's an honor on my behalf, you know, just to be a part of it. So, I mean, we're two guys, we're going to compete against each other, and this will be a game that we'll talk about 20, 30 years down the road, and whoever wins will have bragging rights.
Being a former player in Saskatchewan, and now being a member of the Calgary Stampeders, you've probably seen some pretty strange things in Regina during a football game.
I mean, whether it's been from just, you know, big belly guys out there with t-shirt, no shirts, just basically underwear and big boots on with, of course, watermelons on their head, sliding through snow on the ground, and like I said, it's -10, -15. And of course, those are the same guys in the hot tub, so that's a pretty raunchy and nasty scene. But I tell you, and besides that also, you know, just with the rich tradition there, I mean, from 86-year-old men and women who pretty much yell out how much they hate you for leaving, to a 4-year-old child, you know, saying, "Bursch, you left us, we can't stand you." And I'm like, well, how do you even know what happened? You know what I mean? It's like, geez, you're 4 years old, you're just now starting to speak, and you actually knew I'd left Saskatchewan. How do you even know I played? You know what I mean? So it's like little stuff like that. It just shows you how passionate they are about their team, and that's why it's going to be a special afternoon for us here.
I'm just glad my birthday is not in October.
Stamps TV is brought to you by Molson and Coors Light. Who wants a cold one? Apple Fitness, equipment the pros use. And South Center Fine Cars, McLeod Trail, Calgary.
You're about to watch the Co Show, not the Lonsboro Show, the Co Show.
The Co Show is brought to you by Alberta Glass, Olympia Trust, and South Center Fine Cars, McLeod Trail, Calgary.
One of my favorite players on the Stampeders roster of all time is Jay McNeil, who's retiring at the end of this season. Personally, I didn't think Jay was going to make it this far, because I was with the Stampeders in 1994, the very first game he played in Ottawa, and he's on the road, and Wally's got everybody loaded up in the bus in front of the hotel, ready to take off, and we see Jay screaming down the road, this big figure, cowboy boots, pants flying all over, shirt undone, hair all over the place, and a little hungover. So he's late for the bus. He finally pleads with Wally, "Give me a chance." He runs to the hotel room, grabs his stuff, jumps on the bus, and the rest is history. My favorite Jay McNeil story. Great guy, always got time for you, great player, great career. Jay, this is our final tribute to you on Stamps TV, and what better way to go out than on the Co Show?
They used my body on Jay McNeil's toy here, bobblehead. Everybody knows Jay doesn't look like that. For example, they might have mistaken and put Jay's body on Damon Allen's. Look how chubby he is.
Perfect proportions, no gut whatsoever. I like it.
I've done some down-home investigating for you people at home. The bobblehead doll, not even close. Take a look like what Jay really looks like.
It's never a good thing when Co gets involved in anything, so I don't want to see it when he's done with it.
You know, we've played together here for 4 years. You've been here 14 years. Maybe, you know, we'll have a little fun here. Maybe let me know kind of how the offensive linemen are in the locker room. You know, maybe body types. You know, I see a lot of bigger men in the locker room. Maybe you can kind of go and explain what each guy's typical body type is for me.
Cole, you're a fool. First of all, let me say that. You're just a fool. Anyone knows that the offensive line are the real studs on a football team. You ought to know that. Take a look at this body. This is true to life. Look at you, you fat little thing. This is true to life. This is true to life. You look at me, I'm a stud, baby. I'm a stud.
Well, that wasn't quite the response I was looking for from you, Jay, but you know what? Again, you're as an offensive lineman, you play beside a guy, John Comiskey, who has his hands, who has quarterback's hands up his rear the whole game. Maybe you can comment on how John thinks about that, you know, as a position.
That's why I'm not a center. You don't see me wearing some of those fruity clothes that some of those guys wear, do you? No, I'm a real man. I'm a guard. I play hard. I'm a guard.
Maybe you can give me a few kind words. You've had the chance to play with a great tackle by the name of Jeff Pilon for a long time.
Well, you even got a tattoo on that right, though. That's the right tattoo.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Jeff the Pylon. I'm the real man on the O-line. Everyone knows that. But I like eating with him. He can eat. Hey, I can eat too, but not as much as him. Look at me eat. Co, I can eat. Look, Co, I'm eating. And I still look this skinny. That's what a real man does. The Pylon, the only reason I hang around with him, he's got a cute wife.
Well, Jay, I mean, I will agree with you. Kelly is a very beautiful woman. That's something very nice to say. You're right. Jay, sometimes on the road you have the unfortunate of rooming with a guy by the name of Randy Chevrier. You know, everybody knows he's a little hairy at times. Maybe you can kind of go through that relationship you've built with him.
He's a friggin' Sasquatch, Co. That's what he is. He's a Sasquatch. He's got hair front, hair in the back. I can't tell if he's coming or going. He's hairy, Co. He's a Sasquatch. We go to the beach. Man, I say, take the sweater off, man. Let's enjoy it.
Maybe you can let us know about some of the stuff you like to do off the field. You know, maybe some of your personal stuff that you know, like like doing. I like to golf. Maybe you can kind of tell the people what you like to do.
Look at me, Co, you fool. Can't you tell I'm a bodybuilder? I like bodybuilding. I like lifting weights. I like working out, and I like to eat. Co, I love to eat. Go get me something to eat, you fool. That's all you are is a gopher. Give me something to eat. You're an idiot, Co.
Wow, not a lot of respect there from Jay McNeil here.
I'm a guard. I play hard.
Well, that's it. Scott Coe from The Coe Show with Jay McNeil. Now everybody at home knows the true Jay McNeil. I want to say thank you to Jay and all my friends for always helping me out on The Coe Show.
The Coe Show is brought to you by Alberta Glass, Olympia Trust, and South Center Fine Cars, McLeod Trail, Calgary.